My name is Charles Nebeze, and I'm with the Center for Excellence in Mining Innovation. And I'm the Vice President Business Development and Commercialization with CEMI. And I'm here today to present to you on two topics. I want to talk to you about Crush It and also to talk to you about commercialization support services. So again, thank you all for coming. And I look forward to spending the next 15 minutes with you to go over Crush It and commercialization support services. But before I jump into Crush It, I want to give you a bit of background on the Center for Excellence in Mining Innovation. So our organization is 13 years old, and we are a not-for-profit organization. We are based out of Sudbury, Ontario. And Sudbury, you all know, happens to be Canada's mining capital, not only for actual mining, but also for the supply service sector companies that service the mining industry. Our organization's mission is to advance innovations, and our vision is to help solve the challenges that the mining industry has. And our mission, the way that we actually advance the mission and our vision for organization is that we believe that by advancing innovation and by solving challenges, we're able to then reduce the cost and risk of innovation. So that's sort of the mechanism that we look at when we're trying to advance on our mission and our vision. And the areas of technology that we look at are under 4 technical pillars. So we've got deep mine, lean mine, smart mine, and also eco mine. So these are the technical pillars of the areas that we address as we're trying to move innovation forward. And these 4 areas, we have a business support group that looks at commercialization support services, and that group is called BizMine. In order for us to sort of serve the mining industry in a way that we think is most efficient, we always look to build programs. So up here you see MICA. MICA is a program that we're building that is going to actually be a mining innovation commercialization accelerator. And MICA is a program that will be co-funded by the government and leveraging the dollars that are primarily coming out of the SME sector. And if you stay tuned, we should have an update for you on MICA in the next couple of months, letting you know how that's going to move forward. Looking at who we service, CEMI has a global innovation network, and we sit right here in the middle where we are a hub that connects to other nodes that are out there. And we do have mining companies, government departments and agencies that we work with. We do work with academic institutions like universities and colleges, and also industry associations like SAMSA and Mining Association of Canada. And we primarily focus our attention on helping the supply service sector, the SMEs, to close the commercialization challenges and gaps that they have. What we've done over the last couple of years is really sort of narrowed down where our service areas are. And we provide innovation scouting services where we go out into the world and we look for innovations that are emerging. And we help to share these innovations with people that need them, mining companies, of course. We also do challenge identification where we sit down with mining companies and figure out where exactly are their pain points. Sometimes, where companies think their pain is not exactly where it is. So we've got a process that we use to be able to identify, to zoom in on where those specific challenges are. And then also do challenge solution matching, where we really do more of a dating application, where we are matching innovation solutions with challenges that have been identified. And then the last piece that I'm going to talk about in more detail after I talk about Crush It is commercialization services. So moving on to Crush It. So what is Crush It? So in 2018, the federal government put out a competition to identify technologies that are going to be instrumental in reducing the amount of energy needed in comminution. So if you know some of the facts around comminution is that 4% of the world's energy is actually consumed in comminution, which is the process of grinding down that rock to a size where you can then liberate the value that is hidden in those rocks. So the government division called IPA Canada put this competition out, and what happened is that they selected 6 finalists, and these 6 finalists are all working on technologies that they believe and that we also believe are going to have some disruptive potential. So the reason I'm bringing this up right now is that these 6 technologies, if they do advance forward to commercial adoption, are going to require the supply service sector companies around us to be able to service those technologies and how they get implemented. Some of these technologies are promising to have a platform change impact on the industry, so there's an opportunity there. Last year, the government awarded each of these 6 $800,000 each to be able to advance the technologies. Next year at PDAC, March 2021, one of those companies is going to win $5 million, and that $5 million will go towards advancing the commercialization of those technologies. So now I want to move on to sort of speaking to you about commercialization, but I want to just highlight one thing about commercialization that CEMI has found. There is something called the commercialization valley of death, and it is an area where good ideas go to die. So CEMI has found out that between basic research, there's an area of product development, and then there's that market penetration. That on that product development, in order to move your product from research to actual commercial adoption, there is an element of help and assistance that you need to be able to close that gap. So if you can imagine CEMI is like that train that helps you cross that bridge where you go over that commercialization valley of death. Now, in terms of how CEMI views innovation, so CEMI is a lens. So we've got this glasses that we put on when we view innovation, and we always ask some really tough questions about any innovation in order to ensure that that innovation has the ability to cause sufficient change within a mining company. So we ask questions like, does your innovation help address the declining grades problem that the mining industry has? Does your innovation have an impact on reducing increasing capital costs and operating costs? Does your innovation have an impact on the return on investment? And does it also impact the emerging ESG costs that are very important? To summarize how we view innovation, we would ask the questions is, does your innovation accelerate the time to revenue? Does it increase the capital investment that is being made? And also, does it improve return on investment? At the end of the day, when you look at the cost curve, for those of you who are familiar with cost curves, our idea is that we want to shift the cost curve up and towards the left. And the reason for this is we want to accelerate time to revenue, because this is what mining is, the business of making money. So if we can accelerate the time to revenue, that's really important. A dollar you make today is not as great as the dollar you make tomorrow. So the sooner you can make the revenue, the better. Our view of innovation is that innovation has to have an impact on decreasing costs by at least 50 to 60%, or increasing performance by 200 to 300%. Take all this together, we're looking at net present value, right? So does the technology you're moving forward actually impact net present value? And if it doesn't, then the chances are it's not going to have a good level of uptake. So CEMI is a bit of a lens that we use when we are looking to see how to help somebody identify whether or not they are stuck in the commercialization valley of death. And so what we do in this area is that we look at 8 different areas of a company. So it's not the fact that you have a good technology that gets your technology adopted. The fact is, does your technology, has it been de-risked sufficiently enough for a company to adopt it? So these 8 areas we found over through experience is that these are the areas where we need to take a look at in order to identify what your strengths are in this area. So we do have an assessment that we give out, and it's about an hour-long assessment. We're reducing it down to maybe half an hour by just zooming in on some specific questions. So here's an example of feedback we got from 28 companies. So this is a cumulative of 28 companies across Northern Ontario. And this spider chart, is showing you what the capacity is of Northern Ontario to be able to commercialize innovation. So it's kind of a commercialization capacity check. So think of this as like a health checkup when it comes to commercialization. We do have a process, a client engagement process that we have refined over the last couple of months. And it starts off, with identifying who you are, assessing you, and then we go through the reporting period, and then we also summarize challenges. At the end of the day, what we do is we give you a proposal, and the proposal that we give you addresses these 8 areas to ensure that we're actually closing an identified gap. Now I'm going to move on to talk to you about our commercialization support services. So the first thing that we like to do is obviously to do the assessment. The reason we assess companies is we want to get to know you. There's no point in us trying to help somebody when we don't have that intimate knowledge of what the company is all about. So this assessment allows us to be able to get that intimate knowledge of what a company is all about. We've found through those 28 assessments and engagements with SMEs that the most common challenge that SMEs have is mining company identification and introductions. CEMI's angle when we are trying to introduce a technology to a mining company is that we are looking to introduce early stage technologies in terms of market entry that are struggling to enter the market. So we always ask the question is, are you struggling to enter the market with your new and unique innovation? And I must add that, we're not just looking to help any innovation. We're looking for innovations that pass that threshold of excellence when it comes to innovation. We also help companies with technology development, evaluation, and validation. And this is something that we've had a lot of experience in when we launched those major national initiatives, similar to what MICA is promising to do. So we do have the ability to help with this area as well. We also help with identifying prototype testbed preparation. And really what this is that we look for opportunities to be able to give you an opportunity to test your innovation in a real world environment. At this moment, I want to just emphasize something. We work with our network of partners across Canada. So, we work with NORCAD, we work with other organizations that have got facilities and abilities to help create these test beds, such as the NORCAD test mine. And so we're very active in ensuring that we're helping in this way. Another area we're helping is knowledge and technology transfer. If you visit our booth, number 76, you'll see that we have got a Future of Deep Mining Conference 2020 that's happening September 16 to 17 in Toronto. And it's an opportunity for us to do knowledge and technology transfer and sharing with the ecosystem. We also help with client testing and client adoption, and that goes without saying. Another really interesting and cool area where we help is intellectual property navigation. We have an arrangement with an organization called PatsNet where we're able to search prior art on any technology area. And this is really useful because, we've found SMEs developing technologies that have already been patented somewhere else. They just didn't have the knowledge. So we help you to really look deeply into the intellectual property global databases and identify what technologies are coming up in your area of interest. And we also have a good relationship with our patent agents here in Canada that work with us hand to hand. We also do technology and business case evaluation, and we do new solution export development. And the reason that we specify the new solutions piece is that these are technologies that have not yet been adopted, but that are new and exciting and that are promising, disruptive change. So we do help to move some of the technologies forward. A good example of this will be a company called SciFi Environmental that we're working with. And they have a technology that we are helping to bring to Peru that's going to identify some very specific challenges in that area. And I'll talk about that in a moment. We also do some supplier company validation because some of the mining clients want to know just what the capacity is of a company that they're dealing with to be able to commercialize an innovation. And we also do proposal writing and preparation and partnership and consortium development. And the last thing that I want to say is that we do help with funding acquisition. So we've done this in the past, and right now we're asking the government of Canada for $40 million, which is going to be leveraged with SME dollars to advance innovations that we think are going to have disruptive impact on the mining industry. So now I want to move on to give you some examples of companies that we are aligned with currently that we're giving some support services to. So here's a company called GoopX. GoopX is a company out of Norway, and this company has a heat exchange technology that does something really, really unique and neat. And what they do is they look at the heat coming out of an exhaust rays in a mine, and they strip out the low-grade heat and use that low-grade heat to reduce the cost of energy being spent to heat air that's going underground in a mine. So this is a company with a product that is not yet made to Canada. We think this innovation is going to help reduce GHG, so we think something that is needed to promote. We're working with a company called IRING, and for those of you who don't know, IRING is right over here, and number 44. And the reason we're working with IRING is really twofold. Number one, it's a cool company with a cool innovation, but more importantly, they have an advanced fragmentation prediction tool that is looking at fragmentation at a 3D level. So if you can just imagine being able to engineer your blast design so that you're controlling your fragment size. IRING is promising this. And not only that, IRING is also working on a technology that's going to allow you to custom load each hole with an explosive that is unique to that particular rock type and ground conditions. So this is taking, drilling and blasting to a whole new level, where you have custom engineered drilling solutions. Another company I want to bring up, and this is a project that CEMI is very excited in, and it's about using cryogenics for mine cooling. So if you can imagine, as you go deeper with mining, you want to be able to cool the environment. So you can use the standard fridge approach, or you can use cryogenics, and this is an area that we're very excited in. We've actually demonstrated the ability to expand liquid air in a controlled way and allowing it to cool an environment in a way that we think is a game changer. Another company I want to highlight is a company called SciFi Environmental, and I mentioned this one before. The reason we like SciFi is that their technology is actually biodegradable. And dust control is something that we found out in Peru is actually impacting agriculture. So the farmers in Peru are unable to export their product to the international markets because of the dust contamination. So with our work with SciFi, here's a company that we can introduce some of our partners in Peru because it's a really truly unique and technology. Another company I want to bring up that we're working with is a company called Nordic Mine Steel, and they're based out of North Bay. And what we've done with Nordic Mine Steel is through a patented technology that was co-developed with CEMI, came up with CEMI's technology development area, is a rapid advanced shield. And what this shield does is it actually allows you to do more than one task under protected ground underground, allowing you to improve your advance rate. So if you can imagine, if you say, well, bolting is our biggest problem in our mine, well, with our advanced shield, you can do bolting while at the same time doing drilling the face. So that's a good opportunity that we have with this technology. Now, here's just an example of companies that I've worked with, that we've worked with over the last couple of years, that we've helped move technology forward. And I'm going to name this company so that when you're walking around, you can see these companies, and then you can know that CEMI had a hand in helping these companies become more successful in the work that they're doing. So there's Best Tech, which is actually right behind us. They have a booth over there. We worked with Symbiotic Way with Kirk Petrowski, and Symbiotic Way is right over here. We also worked with Rock Tech, and I'm sure you all know Ricky, who's also the chair for SAMSA. We also worked with Trucks and Wheels, Mirror Geoscience, and Genetech. We worked with Genetech on a helmet that they've designed. And if you go to the Genetech booth, you'll actually see a helmet that they're displaying over there as well. We've worked with Maestro Digital Mine, and Shannon is right there with Mike. And so we've done some good work with Maestro and helped them move things forward. I did mention North Bay, Nordic Mine Steel. And we also with a company called FVT. FVT, Future Vehicle Technologies. It was a company based out of BC. And through the work with CEMI in the Auto Deep Mining Network, we're able to actually attract this company to set up shop in Sudbury, Ontario. So it's an example of some of the work we've done. We worked with Electrole, who developed the hydraulic air compressor. And now they've got an engagement with Kirkland Gold. And we also worked with Miracle. And Miracle is right here. We're actually facing Miracle. So please go see Miracle as well. We're working with Miracle on some projects to do with refrigeration. And I did mention CanMind. And again, you know what, we worked with Genetech on some wearable technology. So you can see that CEMI has actually helped companies that are here today to commercialize their innovations. And we're looking to engage more of you. And I've got 1 minute to go. And I'm really pleased to inform you that we have our second Future of Deep Mining conference happening in Toronto, September 16 to 17. And we're going to be showcasing technologies and speaking to you about where the future of deep mining is going and what technologies are coming out of the deep mining to help the deep mining industry. And we have a website now for this particular conference. The website is here. It's cemi.ca/FDMC 2020. Please take a look at our website. For this conference, we're looking for speakers. So if you want to speak at this conference, let us know. And we're looking for sponsors and delegates. And I see Angela over there from CIM. And we are looking to work as closely as possible with CIM to promote the Future of Deep Mining Conference. And this brings me to an end of my presentation. And I welcome you to ask me questions or to come see me at my booth right here, where we can talk about how we can help your company to get out of that valley of death where good ideas go to die. Thank you.